Team, welcome back to another GYMLESS Coaches Rundown. Today's date is April the 1st, 2020. Team, today's focus is strength. So we're not looking to move as fast as possible, unlike yesterday. Today's all about controlled movements, applying tempo and load. The way that we're going to do this is we're working through triceps. So that's 3 exercises. You're going to go from the first exercise, no rest, into second exercise, no rest, into third exercise, and then you're going to take about 90 seconds of rest before we go back to your first set. You're going to move through that 4 times for quality, a bit of a rest as needed, and then you're going to go through another 3 exercises in the same format. First exercise, no rest. Second exercise, no rest. Third exercise, no rest. Rest 90 seconds, back to the top again for 3 to 4 sets. Okay, for the Bulgarian split squats, all you need is a bench or a chair. We're typically taking about 2 to 3 steps away from that. From there, we're placing our back foot on top of the chair or the bench. Now, for some of you, you're going to be able to get your knees to the floor. Some of you won't. Doesn't really matter. All we're looking for is that front knee is tracking the toe, and you're standing up again. Your belly's going to stay tight through this movement. Now, in terms of different ways to load this movement, the first option we have is a weighted backpack, and you're going to hold it in a Zercher position. So it's going to be kind of like an underhand position. Good. Go into your split squat. Emma's going to show us 1 repetition. And of course, the heavier you load the bag, the more challenging it's going to be. Second, if you have a kettlebell, you're going to move this into a goblet position. And then you execute the split squat exactly the same way. If you have a dumbbell, it's going to be the same thing. Dumbbell in our chest in a goblet position. So either you can go across the body, or you can hang the dumbbell vertically on the ends. Fantastic. Now, in your sets, guys, you're going to complete all the reps on your weak leg first, followed immediately by your strong leg. Next exercise we have is a towel bag overhead tricep extension. So Emma's going to show us with a towel and a bag how we set this up. Get your towel, loop it through the top of your bag. We're using the same load as we did for the split squats here. Then from here, I'm going to swing it around the back. Perfect, and Emma's going to show us from the side. Arms going to be placed over our head, belly nice and tight, and we're extending the arms all the way. So back and overhead. Back and overhead. Fantastic. Now, if you don't have a bag or you have a dumbbell or kettlebell, we're doing the exact same movement. This movement in bodybuilding is called a French press. So the dumbbell or kettlebell goes behind the head, and we're extending, squeezing the triceps here. Now remember, don't just move through these movements. Emma's going to show us with the dumbbell now. Really focus on trying to strive for burning in the muscle tissue. So rather than just rushing through, moving from A to B, we're trying to get our triceps to work as much as possible. So maybe putting a little pause on the bottom of the top position and squeezing would be a good idea. So for our next movement, we're going to do a seated bag strict press. Now from here, bring the bag into your front rack position. And in here, you want to think about squeezing the bag. So immediately, we're going to create tension through our pecs and front of our shoulders. So squeezing the bag the whole time, we're going to press the bag over our head. Good, and come back down and drive and squeeze. We're looking for a burn in the front of the shoulders and the triceps here. Good, now if you don't have a bag and you have a kettlebell, we're going to do a single arm variation. Now we have 15 to 20 reps prescribed here. We're looking for 15 to 20 on each arm. Similarly, if you have a dumbbell, you can do the same thing. Remember, if you're doing single arm or single leg movements, guys, always start with your weak side first and make sure you match the reps on your strong side. So for our next series of 3 exercises, the first exercise you have is a single leg glute hip thrust. Now you can perform these on a bench or on the floor, it doesn't matter. So Emma's going to show us a variation on the bench to start. Most importantly, belly is tight, and at the top, really focus on squeezing your glutes. At the top of the rep, if you want to think about your heel pulling towards your butt, you're going to get even more activation in your hamstring. Remember, we want as much work through the hamstring and leg here. Now Emma's going to show us a variation on the floor now. So she's going to scoot backwards. Again, she's going to perform a single leg variation. The other knee can be leg can be straight or bent. Bag on top of the hips to make it even more challenging, and she's going to lift up, squeeze, control back down, squeeze. Good, remember, try to make your hamstrings and glutes work as hard as possible here. You're going to perform all the reps on one leg, followed by the other. The second exercise in the second round of 3 exercises is a towel bicep curl. We're using the same bag, load as heavy as you want. the towel wrap through, the same as the tricep extension. You're gonna curl up and squeeze your biceps hard at the top. Now remember, we're focusing on the burn here, so we don't really want the elbows to move. Keep them fixed by your side, your belly nice and tight, and at the top of each rep, squeeze your biceps and make sure you bring them to a full stretch at the bottom. Next exercise is an upright row. So this is a pulling movement into a pulling movement. Just like in the first superset, it was a tricep movement or a pushing movement into a pushing movement. From here, Emma's gonna set tight and she's pulling the elbows up, high and out. You should really feel biceps and traps working here. Again, adding a little pause at the top is gonna make you feel this exercise more. To finish today's workout, we have a fantastic core exercise. It's not just our core though. It's gonna be training shoulder stability, trunk and glutes all together. Of course, a bit of balance and coordination. It's a Turkish Getup. So we're gonna start by showing you the bag. Place your hand to the top of the bag loophole. From here, your cues are, you're gonna roll over to your elbow to start. From your elbow up to your hand. Lift your hips to the sky and slide your knee underneath your hip. Bring yourself to half kneeling position and hold here. We're looking to stack that shoulder. Now from here, get into a standing position. This is halfway through. Now we're just going to return on the way down. Back down to your left knee. Reach your hand out. Slide your leg out. Butt to the floor, elbow, and the floor. That is going to be one repetition. Now we're going to show you a different variation with the dumbbell. It's exactly the same movement here. Couple of little tips here with your Turkish get-ups. Always keep your eye on the dumbbell, bag, or kettlebell. Emma's just going to show us one repetition. Elbow, hand, a little bit faster now. Always eyes up towards the dumbbell, keeping that shoulder stacked as much as possible. Good, and lastly, if you have a kettlebell, it's exactly the same movement. Now, when we go through this workout, guys, every 90 seconds, you're completing 3 reps on each arm. So you can do 3 reps in a row before you rest. So within the 3 reps, you're never putting the kettlebell down the floor until you've completed your 3. Okay guys, that is it for today's strength bias workout. Remember, put your scores into WhatUp. That is super important. If you are using a bag, make sure you weigh it so you have some frame of reference. So next week we can progress our strength work. And if you don't have a bag and instead you're using things like dumbbells, kettlebells, or a water bottle, similarly record in the notes what load you used. Enjoy.